the Inaugural Mountain Railroad half marathon up in Everett. Did that this morning. Finished first overall in an hour 21 and some change. Not sure what the official time is. It'll be posted later, but I saw it on his computer screen. It was like 121 something. We'll just call it 121 and a half. It was on some rail trail out there in Everett. I wish I could tell you the name offhand, but that I cannot. Race was sold out. There was 80 people that they were taking this year. I don't know how many started. Wasn't sure how this was going to be. I never been on this rail trail or really ran in Everett before, so I didn't know what the competition was going to be like, or who was actually going to show when I signed up. So it's going to be a new experience for me. Sort of looking forward to it, except for the rail trail part, because if you heard me talk before, I hate running on rail trail. It just kills me. But anyway, it was a pretty decent race. I enjoyed it, probably because it was a different rail trail than I've ever ran on before, so it gave me a little bit of a different view. And there was a guy that I was competing with most of the race, so that made things go a lot quicker. It was like an hour and 20-minute drive from my house to get there this morning. It was sprinkling the whole way. Didn't really downpour at all, but just that constant little steady rain here and there. Well, I would say the whole time. I wouldn't say here and there, but and the forecast called for rain all morning, so I was expecting to run into the rain for the whole race. We did get lucky. Maybe 4 or 5 miles into the race for me is when it stopped raining. So that was pretty nice. Kept us cool this morning. I think it's 64 now. I think it was about that. Maybe like 54 to 58 or something like that when we started. I could be wrong. I might have hit 60. I don't know. I forgot to really look at the temp before we started. I know it was just shirtless weather, and I was just happy about that, even with the rain. We parked at some little like church pavilion thing this morning. It was kind of weird. Single lane road to get back to this parking lot, and there was a couple of houses on it too, so it was just, I'm not shady, but it was just weird kind of drive. It was more of like a driveway than like like a normal parking lot type deal that you expect. But whatever. Got my bib, took a piss, put my shoes on, my socks. Didn't really get ready till 10 till. Didn't even walk towards the start till probably 5 till. It was maybe like a 10th-ish away. Onto this rail trail from the pavilion. So not really far, but you couldn't see it from where we parked and got our bibs and stuff. Yeah, so when we started, I wasn't sure of the competition. I looked around, I was like, I felt confident, but you know how that goes. Didn't really recognize anybody there fast. But you never know. The plan wasn't really to go out fast and try to burn up or do anything. It was basically to run at a comfortable pace the whole time. Basically do what you have to do to win, or put yourself in the position to win. And if somebody wants to come and turn and burn, so be it. Let them do their thing. And if you can get them later, get them later. But stay within yourself and not blow up early on. because again, it's rail trail, and I just figured at some point my body was just going to shit the bed. Luckily, it really never did. So from the start, we went. I think I started in the, like, I let a couple people go out in front, but then I just quickly passed them with no real effort. And I just gradually kept going. I think maybe like the first couple tenths of a mile or so, or even half, I was probably doing a 7-minute pace. And then I just slowly, as I was warming up, gearing up a little bit, my pace was dropping down lower and lower, or whatever you want to call it. I say lower because I was dropping down from like 7 into the 6s or whatever. Then I was finally starting to get locked in as I warmed up, which I was running at a comfortable pace the entire race. At least that's what I'm going to say. Never really redlined or put the hammer down at all. I just played it smart, trying to stay within myself and not hit that red line where I'm going to blow up. And I think that was definitely the right decision today. I guess since I won, it was. I didn't have any issues. Well, I'll get back to like what I wore today before I get into more details, because it does come into play. I'm wearing Endorphin Pro 2s, calf sleeves, these Saucony socks, like they're ankle socks, my 2XU compressions, shirtless, but I had my naked belt on. I put water in one and then my noon caffeine in the other, my iPod, my hat. That was pretty much how I ran today. You know, typical warmer weather attire. Yeah, my throat's getting a little sketchy. I'm drinking a Dr. Pepper today. They offered it after the race, and I was like, I haven't had one of those forever. Even though it's diet, I still wanted it. Anyway. Yeah. So, like the first mile I'm leading, I could hear this guy behind me. And I'm like, don't be this dude. And then he comes up, he's on my side. I'm in the right lane on the rail trail. He comes up beside me on the left-hand side, and we're running together for like a half mile or so. And I'm like, I'm not having this, because like when he was behind me, I was like, you're not pacing off me and like letting me do all the work and, you know, me breaking the wind for you. So then when he got beside me, I was judging him a little bit, like with his pace. I could feel him turn it up once or twice in his stride. You could just tell by like how his cadence like picked up a little bit as I was staying steady. And then I was like, I basically said, fuck this. I was like, I'm not running beside you. So I did one of those step behind maneuvers. I was like, I'm gonna, you know, again, playing smart today. I was like, I'm gonna step behind you, let you break the wind, let you do all the work, and then hopefully I'm with you at mile 11, and then I'll try to crank it on a little bit, save some energy. You know, that was my game plan, say like a mile and a half, 2 miles in. So I followed him the rest of the way out. Well, at least for the next 6-7 miles, whatever it is, give or take. We passed the first water stop at like a mile and a half. He didn't take anything. I didn't. Same with like 4 miles in, and then like roughly 6. He just kept passing them up. And since I had my waist belt, I think I took something in between 6 and 6.5. I drank some noon. on my waist belt. Somehow I didn't really lose stride at all, because instead of reaching in the back, I slid it forward so it was easier to get, and then I just, after I drank, put it back in, slid it back, so it was more fluid than trying to reach out the back. I think that's going to be the way I go from now on, if I can, but we'll see. Because I was hoping he would take some water and show some kind of weakness, but as I was watching him, he looked pretty smooth and fluid, and like he was, to me, he was running comfortably. I didn't really hear his breathing because I had my iPod in. I'm trying to think. I'm trying to get around this Pepsi truck. It's pissing me off. So I'm watching him, and then I know like a couple times, like near the aid stations, I felt like he sped up. Whether he did or not, but I'm pretty sure he was trying to drop me at the aid stations, hoping that I would take water or something, because I could feel his body like take off just a little bit more, and I was like, not today, because again, I had my waist belt, so I didn't have to stop. But I'm watching him, trying to like pick him apart, see what his strengths are, see if I can find a weakness. Really didn't find a weakness per se, because he didn't really look back at all during the whole race. I was kind of hoping he would, or take water, signaling that maybe he was getting tired. So like I was with him at like 4.5 aid station, and then right around 6, well no, because 4.5, I felt him speed up a little bit, because I was running steady, and I saw him gain a little bit on me, and I just like felt like the energy, like his like a little bit of an energy burst as he took off across, because there's like an actual road crossing right there. He takes off a little bit and got me just by a couple seconds. And then he, like the same thing at like mile 6. But like mile 6, we were on a little bit more gravelly, roadish type thing till the turnaround. And he gained on me a little bit, maybe like 15-ish, 20-ish seconds at the turn, like total, out and back, like that little thing. I wasn't concerned at the time, because I was like, there's still a lot of race, we'll see what he does. Plus, again, I was like, at the time, I thought he was a better runner. So I was just going to let him do his thing. And I was like, we'll just see where I'm at placement-wise and go for second. I had like 4.5, 5 minutes. I think I had 5 minutes. Yeah, 2.5 till I saw third place. So it would have been 5 minutes at the turn. So I figured I would have had more later on. So I knew as long as I didn't do something stupid, I at least had second locked up. And then he had like the 15 seconds on me. When I'm watching him, well, I will say this: on the way down or way out, it was basically downhill. It was like 25 or 32 feet down, but 220-ish, 230 up, or wait. Yeah, 220 to 230 feet of descent on the way out, with like 25 to 30 up. And the up was more or less in that first mile section. So we were basically going downhill on the way out for the most part. And like mile 5, it started to get a little bit rougher rail trail. And then at like mile 6 to 6.5, it was a little bit more gravelly, because it was more of like a driveway for some like cabins or something. I don't know. It was still pretty damn smooth, but it was just a touch worse than like a rail trail. But I guess it's still rail trail. I don't know. I don't know when the trail actually starts and ends. It might have ended at like 6 at that aid station, and we just had to go down a little bit more. I'd have to look at the maps, see when the actual rail trail is. Anyway, so as I'm coming back, I was like, all right, your legs feel good. You know you're capable of running hills pretty steadily, but are you going to run these hills or hill, you know what I mean? Because you're running 5 miles uphill on the way back. Are you going to be able to like maintain it, or your legs going to hold up? And it's his legs. You know, being more of a trail and mountain runner, I felt confident. I was just like, we'll see what happens with him. See what he's able to do. We'll just hang back and watch. Again, running comfortably. I'm not trying to close the gap at all yet, because we're still, you know, 6.5, 7 miles in. I was like, you hit that red line, you're just going to burn out, and then you're not going to be able to do anything later on when you try to actually push or should push. So I'm just watching them ahead of me. You know, people are starting to come, you know, passing us as they're heading out to the turn and we're heading back. I'm just watching him. I was like, all right, he still got this, you know, like 15-second lead on me. I'm still not worried because he's still in view. It might not even have been 15. It might have been closer to like 5 or 10, but he's still in view, so there's no reason to rush. Because again, it's still early. So I'm just plugging along. I'm like, I don't know if I have anything in me to like push at the end, but we'll see what happens at mile 11. Because again, that's what I'm figuring. That's when to start closing the gap just a hair, because that gives me 2 miles to close. Like, I'm calling it 15 seconds. So that's 7 seconds a mile. So you don't have to crank it too much, as long as you stay steady with him till then. So then we hit that whatever mile 6 aid station, which would have been like 7 on the way back. And then by the time we got to I forget what it would have been, like 9 or 10. I think it was like 9. We'll call it 9 because I'm pretty sure it was like 4 on the way out. Like, I didn't see him in view in front of me anymore. Like, he just like disappeared. I'm like, what the fuck? Did he just, you know, pull an AJ Kelly and just like smoke the course real quick, like in a blink of an eye? Because there was just a little bit of a curve. So I didn't know what he did. Like, for a couple seconds, like, I was like, oh shit, he just like, you know, dropped the hammer real quick and tried to, you know, lose me at, you know, at that aid station. And I just happened to look over at the aid station. I was like, oh, that's him. It took me a second or two to realize it was him, because he took his shirt off and his hat off real quick. And he looked like he was struggling a little bit, like overheated. He was like taking some cups of water. I was like, finally, this is the opportunity that I needed. The reason why I knew it was him, because I saw the socks and the shoes. As I was following behind him, I saw he had like a greenish white sock on, and then like a brake shoe. And I saw that pattern. I was like, all right, that's him. So he must have finally hit his wall, because he didn't take water at all till then. So like, we'll say like 9.5 miles into the race, he's finally like having issues. So I just kept going steady since I had mine. After I got out of view, I drank some of mine again. You know, trying to rehydrate, stay hydrated, and play it smart. I did not look back at all until 2 miles left in the race. I was like, do not even mind fuck yourself into seeing him behind you, and then get into that panic mode and kick your adrenaline in, and because you know what's going to happen. You're going to end up kicking adrenaline in, you're going to panic, and you're going to end up blowing up. So I played it smart, even though I kept wanting to look back the whole time for like the next 2 to 3 miles. I was like, don't do it. I forced my head forward, even though I wanted to so freaking bad. I was like, he's coming on you at any second. I was like, he's going to catch you. I was just waiting for it. I passed a couple people that I knew, and they were like, oh, looking good. I was like, oh, he's gonna get me anytime now, because like, I was just assuming he was directly behind me, because I just figured he took a drink of water real quick and just jumped back on course. That was my mindset. Not that he stood there for a couple minutes. So I just kept going. I was like, shit. I was like, he's coming anytime now. And then when I hit that mile 11, right before like a little bit of a turn, so I knew it was like a long straight stretch, I looked back, nowhere in sight. And I was like, whew, hot damn. I was like, thank goodness, because that meant I at least had 30 seconds is what I'm telling myself. I had at least 30 seconds on him at that point. I was like, whew. Took the pressure off. I felt a little bit of relief from those like 2 miles. I was like, all right, anytime now he's just gonna, you know, drop the hammer and he's gonna catch right back up to me. But if I knew if he did that, he would have put himself in one of those like burn up states, hopefully. So when I looked back, I was like, whew, all right, now I can relax. I can pull back a little bit, save some energy. So these last 2 miles or 2.1, I was like, that way if something happens, you can recover and you don't blow your legs up, just in case something does happen. You know, you have the opportunity, you know, to catch back up or just recover in general. So then, like every couple of, well, probably every straight stretch after that, I would look back, still no in sight. Still, he wasn't in sight. No one else was in sight. I was like, whew. So I think probably 11 and a half on were my worst times. Well, my pace. If I look at Garmin and stuff, you'll probably see my pace drop. Not substantially, probably like 15, 20 seconds, because I was like, all right, so you don't have to like stay at that steady pace. Even though it was steady, I just wanted to relax and save some energy. And then from there, I just pretty much took it in at a calmer, relaxed pace the rest of the way. I won by, I don't know, maybe like 2 minutes. He was like a 1:23, and I said I was like a 1:21 and a half. So it's a pretty nice lead in the end. I wasn't expecting that for the first 9 miles of the race. I thought it was going to be a battle at the end. And I actually, for a few miles, figured that I was going to finish second and I didn't have a chance. But then when he did that aid station, I figured he was hurting or something happened, and it gave me the opportunity, because if he was taking it there and the way he looked there, I figured he was going to have to take it at that last aid station with like a mile and a half left as well. So I was like, all right, so then you could drop the hammer at that mile and a half, because he's going to have to take it there as well. So I had an opportunity in my mind if I needed it later on as well, because I would have put myself into the hurt locker and not drank anything just to save some time. Even though I did, because he was nowhere in sight. But I would have like hurt myself, so I didn't waste any time. But it was a fun race. Again, it was a different rail trail. Never been on it. I mean, if I want to go bike it to see the whole thing, I probably wouldn't run it again, because again, I'm just not a big fan of rail trail unless I'm biking it. But it was a different scenery type course than say like Ghost Town or Hoodlebug or anything like that. Just had a different feel to it. Race organizers were pretty nice. If schedule permits, I'd go back. It was for the church, and they had some good food. I got some, if you raced, you got like 2 free food items. I got a Sloppy Joe, and then I got some awesome French fries. Whatever oil that they used was awesome. I think they were fresh cut fries. Put some vinegar and some Old Bay, and they were awesome. Plus this Dr. Pepper. But overall, I enjoyed the race. The medals were awesome. I wish I could show you right now, but it's in my back seat. And then I got a cool little like glass thing with the insignia on it for being first. And I think age groups, first in age groups got one as well, like a smaller one as well. So that was pretty cool. I really think the medals and the design of the medals were awesome. So props to them for that. I'll have to look later when the results are online. He said they'd be up tonight on the website. Hung around the finish line for like an hour. Then the gnats and stuff were getting to me, so I said, hell with it, I'm out. Or else I would have waited a lot longer. But it was a fun race. Again, it was fun to have the competition for a while. It put me through all the emotions of like highs and lows, you know, and then actually like racing somebody, trying to pick somebody apart. Because I was for a while trying to pick them apart. I'm just glad I'm a hill guy. I did talk to him afterwards and asked him what happened. He just said his legs got tired because he's used to like he's more of a road runner. So like the rail trail, I guess took a pounding on his legs, even though like most of it wasn't too bad except for that like mile at like 6 to 7, because he kept saying it was gravelly and he wasn't expecting that. So that was nice. So that's how I took it. His legs finally got tired. Because I mean, as smooth as he looked, I really didn't think I had a shot, even though I was hoping to do something at mile 11. Realistically, for most of the race, as smooth as he looked, I wasn't too confident. I didn't hear his breathing, but he did mention mine. He's like, when you were beside me, you know, you sounded like a good runner because you weren't even breathing heavy. And I'm like, yeah, I was just running comfortably the whole time, which is, it's going to be my damn race strategy from now on. I think the last few races I just ran comfortably and slow out the gate. It's really paying off. Not putting me in that red line early on. So as you get older, your strategies change, and sometimes things help. Other than that, I really don't know. I'm just glad he had issues so I could take it. I mean, let's be honest. I mean, I was hoping he was, not that you wish bad on people, but like I was just hoping for an opportunity where I could like take the lead or have an opening to like work a little bit to do something. And then I capitalized on it when I had the opportunity. So yeah, I'm very thankful for that. Will say though, like my damn Achilles with the socks that I wore today, they were too low cut with the endorphins. I got freaking blisters on both of them, so I probably won't be able to run the rest of the day. So that's kind of pisses me off. So I'm gonna have to figure out new socks, because they're like ankle socks, but they're not high enough, so the shoe must rub my Achilles as I'm flexing the ankles and shit. So that did piss me off. That's the one thing that did piss me off today. I'm not upset about the weather because the rain didn't quit after a few miles, so it's not like we had to deal with a downpour or a bunch of freezing rain or even cold conditions. So that was kind of nice. It rained enough where it kept you cool and it didn't get hot. I know this is kind of long. It's like a half an hour for an hour and a half race, or hour and 20-minute race, but whatever. I know going in, again, my plan wasn't to really lay the hammer down. It was just to do what I needed to do to win and just run comfortably. But I guess my time goal on the low side was an hour and a half. Is what I was really on the low side looking to run. But I was hoping to do like a more of a 125, range, 125 to 130. Really didn't want to do anything lower. I was hoping not to have to do anything lower. Even though it's rail trail, and my times could have been lower than 125. I really didn't want to try to run anything lower, but with that dude there, I did. or else he would have won. But my legs are fine now. I got enough energy to run more if I can pop those blisters good enough. Didn't have to take a nice poop after like 20 minutes of stopping. Like, I almost didn't make it to the bathroom. I was really pinching the butt cheeks and the sphincter from my car to the bathroom after I changed it after like 15-20 minutes after finishing, because I hung at the finish for a couple minutes. It was, whoo, it came out good. Not solid at all. Thought you guys should know that. Other than that, I really don't know what else to say. I feel like I'm already recovered. Probably gonna bike some at least later if I can't run. I guess that's it. Just glad I went. I think I got money too. They might have gave me, I don't know, I want to say 50 for the win. I'd have to look. I really wasn't concerned at the time. It'd be nice if it was 50, because that, you know, pays for gas. Yeah, check it out next year if you like rail trail. It was a good crowd, fun, decent crowd. No assholes there, which is always nice. And again, I would say it's an easy course. I mean, it's rail trail, so you can't get lost. The hard part is, again, you're running uphill like 5 miles coming back, but it's only 200 feet a gain. So it's basically like running the hard sections of Ghost Town, if that. Because, you know, Ghost Town, you're running steadily up if you start at Sailor Park. So once it gets a little bit of an incline, but yeah, so nothing major. It's just you're running uphill on the way back and downhill on the way out. So you could maybe go a little faster on the way out than what you would expect. So you just have to run within yourself. But again, it's a different scenery than some of the other rail trails, so it has a little bit of a different feel to it. And then the surface is more like a darker surface, like a black rail trail type surface. So I don't know what they use, because it's not like that white limestone that most of the other rail trails use. Now, if I forgot anything, tough shit. That's my race recap for the Mountain Railroad Inaugural Half Marathon, which in inaugural year, that means I have the course record. I know that don't mean much in the first year, but hey, I'll take it.